Hello on this lovely Sunday at 6. Hello, everybody. Good to see you. Yes, it's Sunday 6 on the Sense for you. We're very live with a full diet of debate and nostalgia tonight, so you cannot afford to go anywhere, even the loo. In fact, we have no time to waste. You get hitting that like and subscribe as soon as you feel able. We will do the entertaining and the arguing. And hopefully you've seen our warm-up video about what's on tonight. Oh, yes, it's all about the rumour mill and speculating by looking carefully at various outlets, sources, and sometimes looking at any omissions in these announcements, like my saloon used to read between the tea leaves, really. Okay, so we're going to be looking at that. Please tell us what your suspicions are. Yes, and RTD, he's on our target sites at the moment. He'll be back. So I have a full panel and some vlogs from panelists to throw in their expertise and insight. We might even hear from RTD and a ghost of Doctor Who past too to add to their weight. So please be ready for that. I'll tell you what, there's so many rumours, aren't there, about this court of King Russell himself. Oh, yes. You know what he's like. He'll love me saying that, won't he? And yes, we shall have season 2's title and trailer chat. Lots to talk about, laugh about, take the mick out of, and something for everyone, I would suggest. Okay, so let's start the debate now. Here is a package I put together earlier, and then my panel and yourselves will discuss it. Is it time for RTD to be removed? What a question there. I think we'd better start asking.
Oh my God, Julie, Phil, Jane, get in here. God, I can't stand this. I'm having a breakdown. This has been one of the worst days of the week. Honestly, I just go out to the park, I was feeding the ducks, I was doing all those lovely things on a sunny day, and then I look on a post, I see this, I can't handle it, my ego can't handle it, I just can't deal with this anymore. Look, see this? Can you get this? I want this channel shut down. I want this. Without me, there would be no excitement, no wildness, no humor, no madness, no... The songs... Sorry, Julie. I know I go on and on, but this has really gotten to me.
Part of the problem is that RTD is now the story rather than what the actual stories are. So his comments have made his position much more central. Plus, of course, there's the whole fact that this isn't just a showrunner. This is a showrunner doing most of the stories and most of the writing. And I think that has become problematic. I would see Disney is looking at this much more collegiate approach that would be normal in American television rather than what RTD has done.
As the Brigadier Mike said, he did say, here we go again, Doctor Who wise, you have, history's repeating itself here, I think, you have a very omnipresent showrunner, someone whose name has become synonymous with the show. And because of that relationship, he's actually helping to kill the show. I'm obviously referring to John Nathan Turner, although John Nathan Turner did have somewhat of a renaissance in his later years. The damage, I think, was done, and his relationship with Doctor Who ultimately led to its shelving in 1989. So if there are moves out there to shift the gentleman concerned, I think he's brought it all upon himself. His name has become so synonymous with the show now in the way that John Nathan Turner did in the late 1980s, that the two seem to be meshed together. And perhaps only the removal of Russell Davies is going to give Doctor Who that new lease of life. Doctor Who is always a programme that reinvents itself, gives itself a fresh start in whatever, whether it's Derek Sherman in Unit, whether it's Peter Davison and Jonathan Turner fully starting his era in season 19, or whether it's Andrew Cartmel coming in later on and turning Doctor Who into the dark mythical figure. Doctor Who really is good at this. Russell Davies has proven he can't do that. Apart from the fact whether this, the programme's now delivery for the agenda is irrelevant. Just looking at the shape of his last season, it mimics everything from his season 1. He's out of ideas. And if Doctor Who's got any hope of survival, we have to go to someone new, somebody fresh, somebody upcoming, and hopefully, I would think, not a previous fan of the show. We need someone who's not going to fan bait, fan please, whatever it is you want to do, just someone who's good at telling stories.
Honestly, all this talk of Disney not liking me or my stories is absolute nonsense. All of my stories have representation. All my stories are inclusive. And all my views are respectable, unless you disagree with me. Tolerance is important in these dark, dark times. That's why I preach it. And it comes from the heart, honestly. I want to create the greatest Doctor Who ever, where anyone and anything can be on screen. Except for wheelchair users, Egyptian cultural appropriation, straightforward regeneration, straight people, no scares, because I don't want to frighten the poor little darlings, no time travel, no space adventure, and no more Daleks, because I've realised that they're technically disabled as well. 2025 Doctor Who should have absolutely nothing in it at all. A beautiful black hole, a hole of colour, of nothingness. Just like my creativity.
Well, this is something I never thought I'd actually have to say, you see. But I addressed this to that funny little Welshman who's parading himself about all over the place. I put it to you that, well, you've killed Doctor Who, you see. Everything that Verity Lambert, Barry Letts, and myself created, you've completely destroyed. And you've done it. You've done it with what you think are good intentions, but well, you've ignored the fundamental rule of television, and that it's like I've always said. Whatever a writer thinks and feels will tend to come out in the script. But as long as you're not preaching at people, the moment you put the message, whatever political message you're trying to push over the story, well, then you've already failed. But I can only assume it's because you're just not that good at writing science fiction. Because if you were, well, then you wouldn't have to keep saying the same thing over and over again, you see. So no ill will towards you, but you've made a royal muck.
Hey, well, good to see the panel. Yes, we are all here. Hello, everybody, and thank you to Jack, who did those voices. He's a wonderful lad, and we're hoping to get him back on as soon as. So, straight away, folks, straight into it. You know that the first question, the first discussion is, the rumours are it's time for RTV to be removed. Disney want him out. They want him pushed, is the rumour. And the BBC are working out what to do. Rachel, what have you heard? What are you thinking on the tea leaves here?
What, for RTD?
Yep.
Bye-bye. I think he's going down. No, he's gone. I think he's definitely gone. I think it was a casual way of announcing that he had been fired.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. By making it look like he had chosen to leave by himself. They're quite good at doing that.
Well, your thoughts, Ryan?
Get him out. If he isn't already out, get him out. Like I said from day one, that the show really needed completely new blood altogether, starting over. I thought this was a mistake from the word go. So if he isn't gone, but it's quite telling that he's already moved on to another Channel 4 show, and a lot of rumors and speculation have all been coming out. No one is coming out, and like the BBC, Ncuti Gatwa, Russell T Davies, nobody is coming out and flat out denying these rumors.
Yeah, Jeremy, your thoughts?
I certainly think the Gatwa's gone. And I think Russell T Davies is just holding on with his fingernails at the moment. But he's probably gone as well.
Now, John, we heard from you in the vlog. Have you had any more thoughts on this topic?
Oh, absolutely loads. I was about to say, that very handsome chap you had on at the start there, after Hugh, he knows what he's talking about, but that's enough of me editorialising. Yeah. Look, the short answer is none of us know. These are rumours. They are rumours. There's some are a bit more substantial than others. We do not know. However, we can piece things together. And just by looking at how the show's performed, what people are saying and how they're saying it tends to make you think that, the end for Mr. Davis is nigh. And for those of us who are in politics, there's a phrase or a saying that's used: all careers end in tears, all political careers end in tears. I think that's safely could be said the same for writing careers in terms of Doctor Who. I always maintained that he wasn't coming back to kill the show. He wouldn't do that, having saved the show and made his mark, if you like, in Doctor Who history. But it looks as though that's precisely what's happened. And I think that's hubris. I think it's ego. And I think it's absolutely all the wrong calls being made. There's just been nobody there to pull him in. And unfortunately, it's bye-bye RTD and not before time.
And there's a lot of different rumours that we will look at, everybody, and we've got the evidence and the tea leaves and everything. But basically, yes, he's gone to Channel 4 for at least a while. That's definitely true. It's well known. I've never seen in his career that he's done more than one job at the same time. So clearly, no Doctor Who projects at the moment. Therefore, it is at least Doctor Who's going on a hiatus if he is showrunner. Obviously, it may not be on a hiatus if he's already been kicked out. And since season 3 hasn't been announced, you have to start looking at the gaps here in the announcements. Now, we've had a few in the thread. Our thread's on fire. It's the topic everybody's talking about. We've all got an opinion on it. But it's interesting that Matrix Lord, he's obviously, when he does his videos, he's normally on the other side of things. So I'll show that balance. In my opinion, RTD and Ncuti are not gone at all. He said in 2023 he was going to do other projects, but we remain with Doctor Who. The thing is, as I said earlier, panel, RTD has no track record of doing 2 projects at the same time. So this surely means Doctor Who is just gathering dust.
Even if he hasn't gone, it will be gathering dust for the next year at least, maybe 18 months.
2 years, I would reckon.
Maybe, yeah.
The thing about it is, if you remember when this renaissance of RTD2 was coming, we were promised no gap years, that he was planning not only storylines for season 3, but season 4 as well. It was when he wrote his Doctor Who column in the Doctor Who magazine. There's not a whisper, not only has season 3 not been commissioned, not a whisper about future plans here. So it's fairly solid to say that this gentleman's connection with Doctor Who seems, if not to have ended, then to have been halted for the present. All that, enthusiasm, all that huge plans for the universe just seem to have had a full stop put behind them just now. So I think as fans, we're allowed to join the dots and say those big plans seem to have come to a halt. There's a reason for that. So we can now predict, and probably predict wisely and carefully and rightly, that he's on the road out. And I would imagine Mr. Gatwa's gone too.
Yeah, now see, we've all heard different rumours, Jeremy. I mean, one of the rumours I had heard from a different source, and I know nobody. I don't do these shows saying I know everybody. No, I don't. I'm a fan like everybody in the thread. We're all the same. I don't know the tea lady at Disney. I don't know the tea lady at Bad Wolf, and I don't pretend to. But what's interesting...
You were the tea lady at Disney.
I know. I'm going to be one of the Who pets and sneak in. I might get away with being RTD for a day. But one of the things I have heard, and I've never done a show about it because, again, it's just rumor. But it's interesting when you add all this together that there was talk that the BBC offered RTD a 5-year deal. And if Disney have said, hey, if you want us on board, he has to go, then the BBC are in a pickle because they can't produce any more Doctor Who if they kick out RTD unless they pay out his contract. There are so many complications if that rumour has any weight. Thread, what do you think? Have you heard the same rumour? So anyway, I'll show you some of the evidence because at the moment it's just the opening gambit. So if I show you this, folks, we're hearing about RTD leaving Doctor Who via certain YouTubers. You can see them there. According to the YouTuber, Russell Davies is being pushed out by Disney because they were not happy about the way Doctor Who had gone. And at the end of the day, they were blaming RTD for it. Under Davies, it's known that the first season of Doctor Who had the lowest viewership in the 60-year history. I'll just show you a little bit more and we'll come back together. So Disney are really pushing the buttons here. In fact, it's got to the point where they're now demanding his removal. And they actually are pushing as well to get the full back catalogue of Doctor Who. Now, we'll come on to that a bit later. That's a slightly different point. So that's the starting gambit of this. It's not just tittle tattle, Ryan.
Well, what I would say, like, as you know me, as much as I love rumors and speculation, as much as the next person, I will stick to facts as what we know. The simple fact of the matter is, like I said earlier on, there's been a lot of rumors surrounding Ncuti Gatwa and his exit. If I was Ncuti Gatwa, I would have came out from the word go and went, no, I'm not leaving. What the hell are you talking about? Of course I'm not leaving. I'm the doctor. I'm not leaving. Not a single peep from him or his team. On top of that as well, from what I understand, it's either his Instagram or his Twitter. He's removed Doctor Number 15 from his tagline.
Yeah.
So I would say Ncuti's definitely gone and wants to move on to more things in America. That's fine. As for Russell, there's obviously all of these rumors, but what we do know is discussions have been happening regarding the next showrunner. He has said that himself in the David Tennant podcast. So those conversations are currently happening. But realistically, do we want a showrunner that has been handpicked by Russell T Davies, or do we just want something completely new altogether?
I'd love somebody new. I think it's about time. Yeah. Now, John, it's interesting, isn't it, that this. I know what, Ryan, you're talking about. The TARDIS travels, Stephen Moffat and RTD, and then RTD talking to David Tennant on a podcast. We got these bits and bobs. The thing is, when I looked at that, John, you said that was about October we learned. That podcast was done ages ago.
The timeline of this is very difficult to work out. The Tennant podcast, I think, was recorded towards the end of last year, October, November time. And there was nothing, so it wasn't produced to answer current concerns about RTD's future with the show and what's going on at present. This was done a few months ago when things were slightly different. There was still an aftermath of the lack of rating success and season one not performing like it should have done. But nonetheless, this was a sort of chat, and it went all sorts of places during the podcast. So I'm not entirely sure that the discussion about his successor can tie it into what's happening now. It just happens to fit the narrative where the rumours are heading just now. But I still happen to believe that because we hear very little from the man himself, the showrunner, Russell Davies now, he's the man with the megaphone. He always was the greatest and loudest voice for Doctor Who, first time round and latterly. But we don't hear much of him now, apart from being at fringe events when he can let go. Other than that, he's not saying much. And I would question, why isn't he saying much? Has he had a gag order slapped on him, or has he just been muted because he's got his tail between his legs? Who knows?
Well,
I think it's a gag order.
I think the next couple of weeks are going to be very telling, because you will expect with the release of season 2 that he would be on the likes of The One Show and Good Morning Britain doing interviews and things like that. That's the next couple of weeks leading up to season 2 is going to be very telling how much he's involved. But all I was going to say is, all I have heard is obviously Disney commissioned the first 2 seasons and the war between the land and the sea. They have pushed the land and the sea back until later this year, early next year. Somebody get me on that. As far as I know, and now take what I say with a very massive grain of salt, but we will not be seeing another season of Doctor Who again until 2027, 2028.
Maybe even 2029.
Yeah. But this is where the rumor about he was maybe on a long-term contract. So if you're going to remove him, it's a bit like the situation we were in after the Doctor Who movie, when, of course, all the contractual mess caused a lot of chaos that Lorraine Heggessy had to get all the executives onto to finally release it for 2005. You've got on top of that, you've got the fact that budget constraints with the BBC. They will need another streamer, I think. Disney, Sony, somebody. They need somebody to help them. We all think Doctor Who can be made without it being massive budget, but I don't think the executives do.
Well, can I just say, Brian, you and I have discussions a lot of the time about this Disney involvement. And it may well be that internationally now, Doctor Who does need a streamer. in order to do well globally. Okay, I get that. I understand that. But am I alone in thinking that the $100 million or pounds or however much it was Disney invested, I really didn't see that on screen in the last season of Doctor Who. Certainly there are no starry names that you say, well, I can understand whether they paid a fortune for her or for him. There was a few set piece effects, but other than that, I actually thought that Jodie Whittaker's last seasons looked far more expensive and better than the current iteration of Doctor Who looks. So
I agree.
that Disney puts money into the product, if they believe Doctor Who needs that, then I'm not saying it. But I don't believe, and I'm an old Doctor Who fan, I don't believe Doctor Who needs that. Certainly it needs money, but it certainly could always do with a big budget, but not the sort of budget perhaps that some of the other franchises perhaps need. But having said that, it's had the money. I ain't seeing it.
No, and he did say once he got the Disney budget, he said instead of us having the same helmet for a monster, the same facial features, we can have distinctive different features. And I thought, that's
what monsters, Brendan? What monsters did we get last time round?
Well, exactly. He's gone for villains, hasn't he?
A giant slug.
Yeah, he's gone for God's nonsense. And remember, everybody, we're doing a lot on season 2 tonight as well. I've got a video package for us to analyze the shots and stuff like that. But obviously, at the moment, this is the first cab on the rank because this is what everybody is really concerned about. Daniel Cox here, predict the war on the land and the sea. The Silurians and Sea Devils are disturbed by humans again. The reptilians see what the humans are doing to the planet and start attacking. Oh, and there might be some preaching, I'm guessing. Anthony Parkinson, Gatwa's career is a case of plates spinning, smoke and mirrors. But with the Trump win, there's a vanishing window where the Yanks will be interested in him. He needs to act fast and not be tied to this flop. Well, his agent might be right there. Get out fast, Rachel. Get out fast.
His agent may very well have said that. It could be also that he may not be going at all, and I think he has gone, by the way. But I'm just playing devil's advocate here, but he's been told to remove the 15th Doctor from his profile so that people, don't go for him, so to speak. But yeah.
So does that mean that I suppose Gatwa will not be doing any interviews then to promote this season?
I think he's got a gagging order on him. I think they've all been told, shut up, don't say a word.
We have to remember this season is only 3 weeks away. And I don't see any of the principals, be it Russell Davis, Ncuti Gatwa, the new companion, whoever it is, anywhere, in mainstream media promoting this thing. And you just think to what it was like last year or when Doctor Who came back in 2005, whenever, there's been zilch. The public are completely unaware that Doctor Who's coming back. Now, if they've slapped a gagging order on Russell and Ncuti doesn't want anything more to do with it, he's shown the door. Who is there to talk up for the show? So it may well be there's just no one at all to advertise the fact that there's
companion.
We've got the Who Pets. The Who Pets will do it. They'll be up on the.
I tell you what, the promotion is making me think of at the moment, and that's Snow White. It's a bit like that, isn't it? A few trailers here and there, and everybody else zip it.
I heard they had the premiere for that Snow White movie in a shed at the back of somebody's garden.
Yeah, pretty much.
What's mad is, and I was thinking this, and I won't say it again, but tonight when I look at season 2 and the trailers and the trailers and the trailers, and you join all the dots, I think it's a position of weakness that RTD and the BBC are thinking they have to throw millions of clips at us instead of the old days when actually, to be honest, less was more. And actually, you kept the intrigue. We didn't know the Cybermen were coming back in Earthshock. Nowadays, we'd have seen clips of the Cybermen. Mm-hmm. And I think that's a sign of lack of confidence and insecurity and throwing the kitchen sink at PR because they don't think anyone's going to watch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they've got to promote this show because the ratings are not very good.
Yes.
So that they should be doing a hell of a lot more promotion, interviews and trailers, etc., to get people to sit up and take notice that season 2 is back on.
Oh God, maybe we all are very well aware it's back on, and people are just looking the other way.
Well, you know as well as I do, Brendan. We have friends who are fans, family members, up to including my husband, who are not going to watch it. You know, so those who are aware they've just opted out. They're not doing this anymore, and because they're being talked down to, or talked at, or pointed at, or lectured at, and they're just watching a substandard product, and basically they're not watching Doctor Who, and they're refusing to do it.
John,
So,
sorry, I do want to confirm. I do have friends. Yes.
well, no, wait, my friend, and it was me. And even I've fallen out with you.
They actually get some decent scripts and find an actor who can do it, then I think they're onto a winner, but they're not doing that at the moment. I heard on a rumour mill Michael Sheen's name has been thrown back in, but I don't think Michael Sheen will ever do it.
Lazy casting.
Even though I think he would be good, but I think maybe someone less well known than Ncuti, maybe.
I'm not totally enamoured by Sheen as a person, but as an actor, I think he's got the versatility and he's got the popularity. And if there's anybody that could probably do anything with it, it's going to be him. And if I was an executive, I'd say I don't care how much you pay him, but pay him and let's get him on the show and see what we can do with it.
I disagree. Sorry, Jim, I disagree with that. I think that's very lazy casting. He may well be good, but he's one of those go-to people. Yes, he'd make a good Doctor Who that we used to have back in the day. There was always go-to people who should be playing the Doctor. What they need to find is the new Tom Baker. That's when you find a genuine eccentric who can play himself on screen, and then get someone who's totally not just invested in the program, but is the part. Then I think that they'll do well for that. But just to opt for someone who's current, who does eccentric parts well, who dresses a bit eccentrically, he's got a long hair, just tends to make me think that's a safe pair of hands. That way, perhaps might lie, well, the opposite of success. So I would like to see a new Tom Baker, not Tom Baker, but a new version of Tom Baker.
But you see that, but that's what Russell T Davies did. He went for an unknown Gatwa, and the gamble just didn't pay off.
No, he did. Oh, yeah, he did. You're absolutely right. He did. But what he also did, he ticked a lot of boxes as he picked that unknown.
Oh yes.
He wasn't white. He wasn't straight. And well, I don't know what what else you can say about Ncuti, but nonetheless, when I look back in this now, forgive me for just harping on about this, I think that photograph you have of Davis and Gatwa sort of holding each other like this, the whole story about this miscasting was there in that photograph. Had we had the wherewithal to see it,
well, we did.
There's something suspect about that whole setup in that picture that should have let us all know this isn't necessarily the right.
I knew that from day one.
Well,
I saw that from day one.
Plus, me and Rachel with her acting background, we've talked about this, haven't we, regarding the auditions process nowadays, and RTD stories keep changing. In one interview, he says something about, that we had a non-binary, we had a this, we had a that, we got it down to 20. Then we hear rumors that actually somebody else actually had to be paid out of a 1-year contract who was given the Doctor Who job. And that, we all know, there's all been gossip about this. That
the whole point of auditions, getting people into the audition room, is not because you're not talented. It is because you're talented, and there's something in them in you that they want to see whether it fits the role or not. And unfortunately, I feel like that maybe in this case it was a bit of a bogus casting system, if there ever was a casting system involved in this. Because I've now called it. I say Ncuti is a complete miscast, even though I was fine with him and the importance of being earnest.
Yeah,
he just doesn't have the right oomph. I don't know if that's the right word for the Doctor.
Yeah,
it's very much like one emotion. I'm doing this emotion. Now I'm doing that emotion. No sort of like natural build. It was like bam, 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 and you don't. That's not what you need for the Doctor. You need someone who can work that work up to it and build up to those emotions and not feel the pressure. And I think he definitely felt the pressure coming into that.
Yeah.
And I think that didn't help.
It's because it's very interesting when, if the rumor's true that they appointed somebody else and then RTD then picked Ncuti and stuck with it, and that to the point where the BBC had to pay somebody a 1-year contract out of it, and then it all falls flat on their face here. So I think I might as well go straight to the other item we were going to discuss anyway, and it'll only take me a few little clicks, which is, of course, has Ncuti jumped ship at the end of season 2?
Yes.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Well, the
I
big
would say so.
massive rumor now is that a regeneration scene has already been filmed. Well,
Yes.
Yeah. I've heard
Well,
that.
the talk is that there's a kind of oblique regeneration hint. Then you get the 5 parts of the spin-off when Unit have to act on their own because the Doctor's gone missing because he's apparently regenerating. That's, some of the stuff I hear. But of course, just to show you a little bit of evidence from the article, just so you can see we're pinning on something at least, rumours have claimed that Ncuti Gatwa has already left the series, regeneration scene, as you said, Ryan. While it's been reported that Gatwa's departure is due to plans to continue his acting career in LA, it's said the real reason is that Gatwa knows RTD is leaving the show. I mean, I don't know, because they did back-to-back filming, didn't they? So I can't see how. I mean, was the backlash happening when they were still filming last year? I don't know. That would have been too much tealage.
Can I stick my spoke in here again? It's all the timelines that I'm not understanding, because there's also many moving parts to this. Remember what happened a couple of months ago when Ncuti Gatwa appeared in Graham Norton and said he was getting ready to film season 3, gearing up to do season 3, and then before it was broadcast, the BBC had that removed from the programme. So he obviously thought he was continuing, and then somebody had the wherewithal to remove that from the finished programme. So somebody else had decided, well, no, it's not decided that whether there will be a season 3, and if there is, whether you're in it or not. So I can't get the timeline right on this at all about Gatwa's involvement, and whether he fell, was pushed, was edged out. I don't know. It's very strange.
I mean, I hope he goes. I mean, I take Rachel's point, because you were waiting and waiting for enough episodes, weren't you? But I grant what you say. He was all right in Important Spain Island.
Yeah, it's fine. Absolutely fine.
But he just hasn't fit the mold, and it's sad to say. I don't have any glee saying that. Regarding what was said about Ncuti Gatwa, the YouTuber also said a lot of people are reporting that it's actually because of Disney, that Disney wanted a different Doctor. And they see this is where it falls into that rumor that I heard that actually another Doctor had already been cast. That's not exactly what I've heard. I've heard that it's actually RTD that Disney are targeting. They think he's the main problem. He's written with the Doctor Who episodes, and he's chosen the direction the show's taken. So they feel that the first step is to get rid of the person in charge. So there's a bit of a kind of mixed message on the Ncuti Gatwa and RTD front.
Is this from Mr. H?
No, this is from Tachyon, the Tachyon Time podcast. So yes, Ncuti Gatwa, is he staying or going? Is he going to be any better season 2? I can't see.
The man's just look at all these pictures. The man's just a walking clothes horse. It seems to be more important to him than the actual performance of a role, whether it's on the importance of being earnest. I saw that at a production that years ago, and just that picture you put up there of just Gatwa in all his finery. Great, go and be a model, go on a catwalk somewhere. That's just, it seems to be what he wants to do, or it seems to be what is in it for him chiefly, rather than the acting chops.
I think it's not a mistake. It's maybe the problem with Doctor Who at the moment is that it became a big success story, and therefore actors didn't see that they were taking a massive risk with their career with something that was seen as niche. They were now on this big juggernaut to LA. If you look at Capaldi, Matt Smith, a few of them have headed that way after Doctor Who. And I think, unfortunately, when you're appointed as the 15th Doctor, I think your head is already in LA going, I just do a bit of this. I'm going to be the Diva Doctor, I'm going to be a vanity project, literally. I'm going to be very superficial. It'll all be lovey, lovey, lovey. I'll do lots of interviews like they all do in LA about, representation and inclusivity, and I'll grift my role.
But a lot of these actors,
Sorry, Jeremy.
I mean, a lot of these actors in the past were just actors, not just personalities with their own blog and etc., and projecting themselves. But today's these particular actors are looking forward to, I've got my own blog, I've got this, etc., and I want to project myself and go to America, etc., etc.
Yeah.
You want grounded actors that are interested in acting, interested in bringing something to the table, to this show, not thinking about next year and the year after and jetting to LA.
I would say that this is what maybe Ncuti was hoping for, a foot in the door. Yeah, he's seen that David Tennant has gone on and done some things in Hollywood and things like that. So he's like, and Disney are funding it, so maybe this is his way in. And also that picture of him on the screen with that orange T-shirt and that pointed, he really looks like airbrushed and totally like a Ken doll in that one. He really does.
I think
To keep the Doctor Who reference up, he looks like an Oxon.
It looks like an AI representation,
no, please
doesn't
don't do
it?
that for me.
An AI image.
Yeah.
See,
I think his fingers are going to fall away and there's a little gun in there somewhere. He's an Oxon.
there is a way you could look at this. Now, they would never ever do it, but if I was a high up executive looking at Doctor Who right now, now we can't retcon the Jodie Whittaker era, I don't think, unfortunately not. But there is that line in the 60th anniversary that the toy maker says that he basically made a jigsaw out of the Doctor's life. What if this entire time it's just been a complete manipulation from the toy maker, and at the end we basically retcon back to the Doctor, Jodie Whittaker's Doctor regenerating on the cliff?
Yeah,
that would be good.
Would you do it? Like I said, from you, like if you had that power, would you do it?
Oh, I'd so do it. So do it.
I think that would be a real poke in the eye for Ncuti Gatwa, though, to have himself erased in Doctor Who, because that would virtually pin the blame on him.
True.
And while he has to accept his responsibility, it's not just his responsibility, So what they choose to do, I've really no idea. I just know that I've been with this program, I've been invested with this program for all of my life and for most of the program's life. And I take great issue with actors like Jodie Whittaker and Ncuti Gatwa coming along and sitting back there and telling me that I've got a problem because they've been cast, because they're female or black. How dare you? How dare you tell me about what problems I may or may not have? And I think that's the issue with these people coming in now. They are using either the program for their own careers, but also for their own political agendas as well, which is fine if they want to do that.
Yeah.
That way it ends in tears. I refer the honourable ladies and gentlemen back to my earlier comments. What this programme needs is an unknown eccentric to take on this part and just fly with it and build his or her career, probably his career as a result of that solid success of more than 3 years in the role of the Doctor.
So basically what you're saying is we need another Matt Smith.
We need another Tom Baker.
It can only go two ways, as I say. You either get a popular actor to get the ratings in, or you go for an unknown and take a chance.
You know what? I think they need to stop obsessing about. I know we do streams about the ratings, but that's to prove a point after we've been slagged off, as John said. I mean, I'm not going to be collateral damage. I noticed Matrix, on the altar of their inclusivity, and some of us Doctor Who fans can be erased. I noticed Matrix Lord is making the argument no Doctor is going to get erased. Well, that's all to the good for the actors, isn't it? But a lot of Doctor Who fans are being erased. We're being told to clear off. So why is it better? I'm sorry, I don't know why they have to get some special preserve.
In those heady days at the launch, Brendan, they told us, the older fans or the fans who didn't go along with the message, the agenda, whatever, to go out, touch grass was the phrase used. Basically, switch off, stop watching. We don't need you anymore. We're going to build this brand new fan base. Well, do you know what? Yes. They couldn't do that, not because, forget the message, forget the virtue signaling. It was just trash. It was badly written garbage. And that's what turned people off, in as much as all the virtue signaling and everything else as well. A poorly played Doctor badly written episodes, no good storytelling, and everything sacrificed towards the message. But we were told, those of us who had invested in it for years were told, don't bother watching. We don't need you anymore. My
right.
God, they need us. They need us now.
Exactly.
Oh, they do. And look, Matrix Lord, it's a fair question, but ask us after I've shown them the season 2 material, because, you know, just so we don't kind of get too waylaid. It's a fair question about how would we feel about season 3, but we haven't had season 2 and we haven't discussed it yet. So let me just go to the next big key area, and then I've got another vlog and another few little tasty things. Right, specifically, the rumor is, will the BBC put Doctor Who into hiatus itself? Will it truly do it? Because there's the argument for RTD that we've had. There's the argument about whether you have to change your actor. But the whole argument is, are we going into a 1985 moment again? So here we go. Rumours suggesting the BBC is considering Doctor Who on the back burner for 5 or 10 years. Remember what I said about that rumour about the long-term contract of RTD? Excuse me. And it also says where Doctor Who's in a similar situation to Star Wars and Marvel. Disney spent billions on those franchises, but fans rejected much of that content, which often pushed a woke agenda. It's safe to say the same is happening with Doctor Who. Disney isn't going to drop another 100 million on season 3 if nobody's watching. And just to kind of bring it up, to be fairness, there's a statement, as you know, from the BBC that's actually says, you know, it's a deal for 26 episodes. Nothing's been announced yet, but that's no big issue. Doctor Who's not being axed. You know, get over yourselves, blah, blah, blah. We've heard that one before. But it's this idea that it's maybe not axed, but it might just disappear for a while, because sadly, Bad Wolf has turned it into a light entertainment, pastiche, silly property like it was in the 80s, according to some of us. And they've taken it back again, the little swines. Where do you stand on this, folks?
I think one of the things as well, I think a lot of people would argue and say that people like us want to see Doctor Who cancelled, like almost like we relish in the fact that, oh, Doctor Who's going to get cancelled. No, can I just say, we don't want that. We want good Doctor Who again. We don't want it to have a hiatus. We don't want it to go away. We just want a really good bloody program again.
Yep,
absolutely.
Okay. I mean, you know, my instinct is thinking it sounds as though there's some credibility in this discussion about there may be a problem with RTD's contract. Therefore, we are just going to have some quiet fallow years while they untangle everything. And actually, a rest might be what Doctor Who needs, because at the moment, we need to forget things. I mean, Jeremy, I know we did our stream ages ago about you walking away, but, you know, I know as a Doctor Who fan, you'd love to come back. Does this have credibility that the BBC can actually put something on the back burner and bring it back? Because you know how in a couple of years in TV land, and you might be forgotten.
Yeah, I mean, the situation can go a number of ways, and we're only going to get more clarity from it when the show is aired, season 2's aired, and then they finally do make up their mind what they're going to do with this property, as it were, Doctor Who. I mean, whether they give it to Disney fully to produce in America, who knows? It's going to be difficult, and I think the fans are just going to have to sit tight and wait.
Well, as I was saying on the last show as well, apparently Amazon have also poken their head round the door as well. Apparently they have been knocking on some doors. So that'll be interesting. They bought Bond. Do they want the next big British property with Bond? Who knows?
I mean, if the formula works, you know, as it has done in the past, don't change it. But the problem over the last 7 years is they've changed the formula.
Yeah.
And they've changed it so much now. They think they're in a tangled mess and they don't know which way to turn.
No.
And we're telling them which way to turn, and they say, no, we're not going to turn that way. We're going to do something else and make a mess of it. And they have made a mess of it.
Yeah, they have made a mess of it. If they take it on, they have to, protect the IP. That's what they should be doing. But you see what they've done. I mean, I wouldn't like to think what Disney would actually do if they got their entire hands on it, or Amazon.
Well, they probably have the Doctor staying with some family, and he's working in the basement, tinkering with the TARDIS, and then something along those lines. You know what I mean?
Honey, I Shrunk the Doctor.
So, yes, it's going to be something like that. Yeah.
John, I was just going to say before. I've probably got something to say to you before anything else. But John, TARDIS Spider, our friend in Terry. If they cancel Doctor Who, I may never get another Doctor. And there is a point. We're all getting older, and while we don't want entanglements and complexity wrecking our Doctor Who formula, we are in a pickle at the moment. But there is the other concern that none of us are getting any younger. And how long will we wait? 16 years when it happened last time, barring the movie.
Yeah.
Gosh, I don't want to add up those numbers, John, about how old I'll be then.
I feel quite offended by that. How dare you? You try to insinuate that I might be dead by the time it comes back. Having seen the last season, I wished I was dead during most of that last season. It was that bad. However, do you know what? I've got a notion that if what they might decide to do with Doctor Who next time round, if it does go away, is just press a big reset button and start from scratch. I don't want to do that, but I've got a notion that that's what they might decide to do. That such as the entanglement of all of this, that they might have to do that. And I'll tell you the reason why Doctor Who's ended up in the mess it is now. I refer back to what I said earlier on. It's fan involvement, fans becoming showrunners, producers, all this sort of stuff. They tinker with it. They treat it like the fanzines and fan fiction of the past. They can't just let good stuff be good stuff and grow it naturally, the way the old stuff did throughout 1963 to 89, and then the original start of New Who. They've got to come in and change it because they feel they've got to change it. So, for example, The Timeless Child with Chibnall, there was absolutely no call for that. He'd left his mark on the show by casting a female Doctor. But he had to come in and tinker and do a fan fiction stuff about, no, William Hartnell wasn't the first Doctor.
Yeah,
this woman was, or these other people were, and what for no other reason than I've got the ball and I'm going to kick about and play with it because it's mine now, not yours. And that's what fans used to do back in the day. Fansies and all the rest of it now. So whoever takes on Doctor Who, and Doctor Who will come back, whether it's a year, 10 years, 15 years, however long it is, when Doctor Who does come back, what you want to have is somebody who just knows drama. You need Verity Lambert, basically, or Barry Letts, or John Nathan Turner. Somebody who's not a fan of the thing, but knows what they're doing.
Yeah, knows TV. But I was going to say to my panel before I bring anybody else in, let me just go big screen. If it responds, do you want to respond? It doesn't want to play at the moment. Let's have a look. There we go. Then it recurs. Jeremy, Ryan, Rachel, don't you think John looks tired? John, I think you're having a Harriet Jones moment. I think I'm going to have you eliminated.
Nurse, the screens.
Can you be taken away to a care home? Sorry.
He's a doctor on Brighton Beach.
She has the Sanatogen imminence. Why, my pretties?
Yes, John, the tablets are working. See you. Good to see you, John.
Yes.
Bye, John. Good to see you.
Bye.
And then there were none.
John still... Just for those who are watching us and know John very well, John, we've got a vlog tonight of certain other questions, like the scariest moment in Doctor Who, and I'll be asking the panel here and the thread, but I've also got good old Hugh, and I've got John as well. Scariest moments in Doctor Who. I've also want the most anticipated season in Doctor Who for you, because I don't think anybody is excited about season 2. So anyway, what were you going to say, Rachel? I thought I slightly interrupted you then, did I?
Yeah, I was going to say, have you noticed how it always seems to be when we have certain doctors that are no longer with us, that's when they really start to tinker with what's going on?
Yes. Yeah. Yes. And Ryan, you had your hand up. It's like in class.
I've just well, you were a teacher after all.
Well, yes.
all I was going to say is this, right? And I want you guys' opinion, because this shit's rattling around in my brain constantly, you know. Just a very, very quick, simple, bear in mind, I'm going to condense down a 6-hour in my brain thing to like a 20-second thing. What if we just kill off the Doctor, right? Let me finish. We kill him off, and the show does take a hiatus for a few years, and then it makes a dramatic comeback because the Time Lords actually have to resurrect the Doctor to deal with a universal threat, possibly little pepper pots running around, and make it scary, make it good again, and have the Doctor actually resurrected and taken on, basically the Time War 2.0.
I don't think that would be a bad idea. I always said that the Capaldi one should have actually just died.
I agree.
Well, you can kill off the Gatwa Doctor because he's just a bi-regeneration. So the original Doctor is at home having tea.
Well, there are some interesting things to say when we go through the season 2 trailers and titles, because there's lots of clues there as how this could end up wrapping up. But coming to your question, Ryan, I was going to be sarcastic actually with the answer, because I was going to say we have had no Doctor Who for a while. He's not. We haven't had the Doctor. Yeah. We've had companion arcs. That's been the blooming problem. I just want Doctor back. We've experimented with that.
But I said, like, the last bit of real Doctor Who, I was like, this is, even though it's a little bit political in places, some of Stephen Moffat's writing, but that last 2-parter, Ending Off in Time, that was just, like, that was the first time really since the 60s, in my opinion, that the Cybermen had actually been scary again. It was epic. The Doctor had this epic finale, and that would have been a perfect place to end it, I think, and then possibly bring it back in a few years. But as Rachel said, in my mind, in my head canon, Doctor Who ends at the end of season 10.
Yeah. Well, see what everybody else in the thread says. Julie Coonan, they keep bringing the Time Lords back, so why not? It would be a great way to reset. Now, we may have lost John, but he's in a vlog. We've still got the Who Pets. We've still got an awful lot to discuss. The season 2 titles and trailer, I've got a big package on that to show you. Now, there's a bit more on the Vox Pops to go, so I think this is the moment to actually show you that and just ruminate on one or two things. Here we go.
This show is incredible that it's lasted this long. It has had gaps, it's had major lacuna in it, and it still survives. I think the whole thing about it is the BBC, again, as so often, don't know what it's for and have therefore ended up with this. And they got RTD in for obvious reasons, but I think RTD in an agenda which wasn't quite going to fit what the show needs to be.
It's, as the Brigadier Mike said, he did say, here we go again.
Well, I think just to be sensible, if you don't have the commitment for the 3rd season and you don't know what's happening, then it would be sensible to have that in the can anyway for it to be able to leave and it not be the thing that causes the problem. I think, it's fair enough if Ncuti Gatwa gets an offer to go and do something in Hollywood, then it's sensible that he would take it because the money will be much better. I don't know if you saw the thing about Peter Kosminski, who did Wolf Hall today, who's talking about the fact that major drama in the UK, it's being starved of money and it's the worst he's ever seen. So that will apply for Doctor Who as well. And that's obviously why Disney is there. But it also means that the money you're going to make isn't going to be that great.
If Ncuti is leaving, well, bon voyage. You had your chance and you blew it. I had great hopes for Ncuti. I don't know whether it's his fault, Russell Davies' fault, Bad Wolf's fault, Disney's fault, or a combination of all of the above. But he's failed to deliver. Had he perhaps allowed his own chance to play the Doctor his way, maybe he might have been different. But unfortunately, everything that could have worked against this Doctor has no firm costume, no firm character, overtly sexual and overtly gay. None of those things are Doctor Who. What Doctor Who's become in the Russell Davies universe and the Chris Chibnall universe. These people, they want to fix Doctor Who, their way as they see it. What was wrong with this character was he wasn't modern enough. What was wrong with this character? He wasn't female enough. What was wrong with this character is he wasn't gay enough. You know, whatever the latest ism is, that's what they want to go with. It didn't need fixing. Absolutely, they just need a good, charismatic actor, preferably eccentric, a la Tom, or even Peter Capaldi, who can do this role. If Ncuti's off, good luck to him. I wish him every success with his career. He's obviously not the right fit, because if he was, he should have been able to have stood up against the production team and said, no, look, here's how I want to play this character. The rug was pulled from beneath him because he filmed 2 seasons on the trot. At breakneck speed, he was too busy doing other things to get a fair run at it season 1. And I think they use the phrase about David Frost, that he rose without trace. I think you can say that with Ncuti Gatwa. He has no cut through at all with the public. But when I mention the current Doctor, people have noted, to friends who are, they're not big on Doctor Who, they have an awareness that there's a black actor playing him now. But he has no resonance, he has no memory, there's nothing there. But people say, oh, wow, like they did with Matt Smith or David Tennant or Peter Capaldi. That's gone. It's no longer there. So Ncuti, shut the doors, you leave.
Now, I leave that just there because I want to ask you as one question. Here we go. Just before we hear from John and Hugh, I'm going to ask you first. Your scariest moment in Doctor Who. Then when we go, and just so the thread knows, this is the moment to answer it. Then we jump to discussing season 2. Then I'll ask you about your most anticipated season. So, Jeremy, long in the tooth on Doctor Who, if you don't mind me saying. So what is your scariest moment in Doctor Who?
Well, I don't know. I'm getting old. What, my most anticipated moment, did you say?
No, when you were a kid, the moment that scared you the most in Doctor Who.
I suppose the Ambassadors of Death.
Okay.
He's reaching his hand out on the Doctor when the Doctor's over the desk and he's reaching his hand out. That's pretty scary. But one of the best moments, I think, was the end of episode 1 of Terror of the Zygons, when Sarah's on the phone and she turns around and you see the Zygon looming at her. That was pretty...
Do you know what? I was going to say, there's so many moments. I've mentioned Sea Devils in the past and everything, but actually the Terror of the Zygons is a particular moment, for me. And it is episode 1. And actually in the barn as well, there's something about how that program is made. It was quite chilling all the way through. I just need in Doctor Who somebody staring, some surveillance camera, and like the Zygon set, you can hear the spaceship and all that organic stuff like that. And I'm going, oh, and there's an eye there and there's a hand there. That does it for me. But I think the moment you're talking about, when as Sarah turns, you see that hand. Brilliant. Yeah. Ryan, different age group, but what your most scary moment?
Can I give 3 examples?
Go for it.
Well, classic Doctor Who wise, one that really creeped me out. It doesn't anymore. As a kid, it creeped me the hell out. Was just watching an Auton going about the woods and spearheads from space, and like whenever he like attacks the guy, that freaked the hell out of me. But I think one of the best moments, I think, from classic Doctor Who, and in a lot of ways it just sums up Doctor Who, is the end of episode 1 of Tomb of the Cybermen, whenever they're all coming down and the music is perfect, and then that "you belong to us, you will be like us," it is phenomenal. Yeah. One other one though that does like go in different age groups, so we'll go to season 1 of New Who, because that was like my first sort of proper season, I guess. The one that really creeped me out was the Reapers from Father's Day. I don't know why, they really creeped me the hell out.
Oh.
And you were allowed to see the priest, I think, die. There's some bloke died and were eaten. Hey, no reboot. It was brilliant. Rachel, well, I think those who follow your stream, and I watched your face, but I'll let you say it.
The Autons. Anything with the Autons. No, thank you.
No, was everybody who knows Rachel watching her face when John Daly mentioned the Autons, and I know I was watching Rachel all the way thinking,
everyone's talking about the Autons.
Is it just me, Rachel, or is the faces in Terror of the Autons one of the creepiest fucking things I've ever seen.
They're terrifying. I don't like mannequins anyway.
I
so
think it's like the
makes it
sunken in eyes and stuff. It just
Yeah,
looks
it's
really, really off-putting.
It's horrible. Yeah, no, I mean, it's good though. Oh no.
Yeah, there we go.
That's in the police car, isn't it?
Yeah.
Terror of the Autons.
One of them pulls. I can't remember if it was Joe, if it was the doctor. Now pulls the mask off, and it's
Says,
like,
excuse me, officer, can I see your warrant card?
That's right. That's right. I nearly pooped a brick the first time I saw that.
Really?
Yeah, it terrified me.
The bit that got me in that as well, actually, is whenever they open the safe and one just bursts out. You're like,
Yeah.
holy
Yeah.
shit,
Classic.
Yeah,
When we
that was
did our-
terrifying as well.
When we did our review, I have to say, when we talk about cliffhangers, I said that should have been a cliffhanger because it
Yes.
wasn't. They just opened the
No.
door and there's an Auton. I think
Yeah.
that would have been an outstanding
That should have been a
cliffhanger.
Oh, yeah.
cliffhanger.
That's to catch the audience by surprise.
I'll
Well,
tell
yeah.
you what, another one's just popped into my head from the same story. But I think one of the most messed up things they ever done in Doctor Who, whenever the plastic chair comes round and suffocates the guy, you can literally see the guy stop breathing, and the camera properly stays on that shot. I think that's one of the scariest things Doctor Who's ever done.
Well, I'm going to come to the thread now to hear your answers. Then we
I've
just
got
watch.
another one.
Yeah. Oh no, it's all right. I'll. We're talking about what scares you in Doctor Who. This might remind you of a few things first. Just as a reminder, Rachel.
Yes, my other two are Castrovalva. I've spoken about Castrovalva before, the augmented reality. I don't like the idea behind, I like the idea behind it, but I find that idea terrifying. The things that, people can control what's going on around you. And the other one is actually the end of Earthshock. That was a harsh reality for me because I was a child when I saw that. And it was a harsh reality because I obviously know that Adric is a young lad and I didn't realize that children could die.
Yeah.
So that was a wake-up call for me.
I mean, obviously, it's a lot. I mean, the spider on the back of Sarah. I'm not an arachnophobe. It was just whoa. That was quite spectacular. That seemed to be vivid in my head. Good old sea devils coming out the water, which meant I wouldn't go to Red Card Beach for ages. That sort of thing. You wee kids love it. So anyway, the thread. Dread Newt got to be the first time with the Weeping Angels. I must admit, thank God I wasn't a kid when they came out because I think they would have freaked me. I think Stephen Moffat was onto it. It was his two boys, wasn't it, that he noticed were intrigued by this. Paul Mabley, the scene from the android invasion where Sarah falls down and her face comes off. It's not the best effect in the world when you compare to nowadays because it looks like but I know what you mean because suddenly the person who's been with the Fourth Doctor suddenly just rolls over and then bang. It reminds me a bit of the Fembots, or it reminds me a bit of the Bionic Woman, and she had the Fembots. It looks a bit like that, doesn't it?
But that cliffhanger was a bit predictable. I think we knew that was going to happen.
Well, yes, Sarah went a bit more like that. Farsight, the scariest moment. Scarman when he was possessed in the pyramids. So I mean, it's a good story. That's whoa.
It goes to show, though, a lot of people there is talking about the Weeping Angels, and that's a conversation we had like 2 weeks ago. That I think that's the last monster in Doctor Who, like recent monster that's really captured the public's imagination. We haven't really had one since the Weeping Angels.
Oh, hold on. The Snot Monster.
No,
that's
comedy. That's it.
Yeah,
No
that's
shite.
So you've got Scariest Moment, full circle. Romana fighting off the marsh spiders. When one emerges from the marsh melon, she's holding and bites on her face. Yeah, it goes, oh, yeah. I mean, that was a good scene, and the way it jumped up. I like Revenge of the Cybermen when the Cybermet jumped at Sarah. That was a dramatic moment. I didn't expect that. I'd not even heard of the Cybermets at that point. No, I hadn't. I think I was too young to have read the books. So, oh, yes, that got me. I'm just checking any more. Lee Smith, the brain of Morbius. Oh, yeah. Do you know what is more scary in that? When she was blind, when you were talking, Rachel, about, I didn't know that, somebody young could die like Adric.
Yeah.
To see Sarah blind and
Mhm.
disabled, whoa, that was confronting. Sean Cryer is going back to the moon base, the Cybermen leafing off the bed. The Phantom Piper. Yes, that was it. And Mad Mackham, red-eyed Vok. How can we forget the Vok robots? I mean, you can't. They were spectacular. Absolutely spectacular. They were good. And it's that calm voice. Garbage. I think it was the Tom Baker. He was on a computer screen. His body was pulled to bits. Oh, Leisure Hive. The Tachyon blah, blah, blah.
Tachyon Chamber.
That's it. The opening chapter of the Image of the Fendal novelization. Oh, we're getting all literary now, Farsight. That's good. The face in the TARDIS in the Pyramids of Mars. You see, this is what gets us into Doctor Who. Come on.
But see, yeah. Look how passionate we are talking about this.
Exactly. And me and Richard Brown, there you go. Sea Devils emerging. It was kind of, we only mentioned this a few weeks ago. Davros, the first time we saw him. Oh, that was big. That was
literally probably the best introduction of a Who villain that Doctor Who ever done, in my opinion.
And then the giant maggots, they were hardly in it. But, and I've got my bent one. So, yeah. Oh, look, I know it's a lovely comfort blanket to go back over, what really got us into Doctor Who, which tends to be the scares. Sorry, turn away, Rachel. SG says, I had a fear of shop dummies coming to life as a kid.
Yes, that's the story of my life.
And you may...
Even now, walking past him, I sort of always give them a second look. It's always there in the back of your mind. You're sort of like,
Even now.
Yeah, same.
Well, I've got John and Hugh just to give us a brief update on their scary ones, and then we'll go to the season 2, everybody, the season 2 titles and everything. So here we go.
Oh, I mean, I think, as we've discussed before, that my worries are about madness and how that affects you. To be honest, I think the best one, and I'll give a big up to Russell, is in Midnight, where the Doctor loses the ability to deal with things because words become taken from him. And that, to me, is the main armor, the main weapon of the Doctor is words. And if they don't work, then the Doctor is powerless. And that, to me, that is properly scary. And I had an incident this time last year, which was not an actual stroke, but a hemiplegic migraine, which mimics strokes. And if you have your words taken away and you rely on them, that is the scariest thing I can think of.
Autons, shop window, 1970. Absolutely, that was it. Do you know why? Because that encapsulates everything the Doctor Who. It takes the mundane, it takes the ordinary, it subverts it, and it makes you look over your shoulder, head for behind the couch, whatever it is. I spent years after that holding tightly onto my father's hand when we walked past his tailors. The tailor's called Tom Martin here in Glasgow, that my dad used to buy his jackets and suits from. And I was terrified. And that was Doctor Who. And that's Doctor Who doing its job. Because even today, just had my season 7 box set delivered a few weeks back, been watching that, rewatching the Autons. There is nothing despite its $1 million budget in current Who, which scares in the same way that creaking old program 50 odd years ago does. All they have to do is look at that and try their best to ape it, mimic it, whatever it is. And that doesn't need millions of dollars. It just needs good writing, a good doctor, and people committed to making this program scare us all.
So there you go. Sorry, Rachel. He also agrees with you.
I agree.
Yeah. People are really joining in now. We're about to do season 2, the trailers, and some people are finding that scary. Scariest moments. Oh, yeah, Sea Devil. There he is.
I finally added one to my collection this week. I'm very, very happy.
I haven't got one. The Autumn in the Woods. Link's removing his helmet. Yeah. The Zygon with Sarah, the Servant of Sutek, and the Crinoid's pod opening. Oh, yes, the Seeds of Doom. How can we forget? Garbage. 2 moments that were meant to be scary but weren't. Oh gosh, he's doing different questions. Here we go. Colin Baker, when the statue falls on him. Oh, yes. And it opens and then shuts again. Jodie, when she opened the door and they all had a jump scare. Yeah, and it's well worth doing, though, isn't it? But yes, Peter Venkman, the inflatable chair with Terror of the Autons. SG, though, yes, the Autons are doing well on this scoreboard.
Yeah.
I'm
What
going
was
to
that,
have
Tony?
mega nightmares tonight.
Yeah, sorry about that. I tell you what,
Yeah.
I'll get you a free counsellor. Adrian Sherlock, the fake police in Resurrection of the Daleks. They were Auton-like. Yes, they were. Oh, here we go. Here's one for the 60s, the Yetis in the subway. I mean, yes, I read the book first, but when I saw it, when they'd found the episodes, it is good. I actually think that the opening bit in episode 1, when it's in the museum and the curator just goes up to it, and then wow, and the music's so cinematic. It's really, really
Very
good.
much Hammer House of Horror, isn't it?
Yeah. Hammer. Oh, yes. And I think that is whoa, gosh, I wish I was there then to see it the first time. Thomas McCarthy, my first episode, Doctor Who was an unearthly child. I remember being very upset about JFK dying and didn't understand why. I don't know what death was. And then you got Doctor Who. Well, there you go. David Harding in Toronto is calling out Revelation. All the talk and no show was in Revelation of Daleks when Davros reveals that the protein he's been selling is to famine-ravaged worlds, and it was people. They've got into that harvesting a lot more now, haven't they? I know it's all a bit rare. Okay, then. And Matrix Lord saying Midnight was his favourite. Yes, as was Hughes, because that was quite chilling. Now, we're here to talk about also, as I said, season 2. The titles have shown. I've got some of the video clips and everything. So what I'm going to do is not keep... I'll keep pressing the same thing. That's really good, isn't it, Brendan? If you do that, it's very clever. So what I was going to do is press this button so I can actually get to season 2 and get us ready. So if anybody's actually triggered by season 2 titles, I'm sorry, but it was promised. And that's what we're going to look at now. So here we go, talking about season 2.
100, 99, 98, 97, 96, 95, 94, 93, 92, 94.
Yeah, please make sure you like and subscribe. We're busting a gut tonight just for you. And so, right, if you haven't seen the trailer, if you haven't seen those 5-second snippets, and you somehow have been somewhere else and not seen the titles, they're all together here. So enjoy, sit back, have your cup of tea, have a lager. This is season 2. Here we go. So there you go. I'll show it again later, muted, so analyze. But basically, let's get to it. So straight away, I want to show you various things, folks, to do with this. So let me go here first of all. So these are the titles. You may have seen them. Thank you, Thinking. He gives his own version on the right hand side.
I haven't seen his tweet. I haven't seen that yet.
So
So for every robot revolution, you've got a reboot revolution. Instead of looks, you've got sucks. The well, farewell, I love it. The lucky day, flaky day. The story in the engine, the Tory and the Penguin. The Interstellar Song Contest, the Astronomical Pong Contest. Wish World is now Fetish World. And then the Reality War is now the Inequality War. Oh, thinking you've cheated me up. Absolutely love that. So, but yes, let's be honest. You can see the new titles. What did you think of them, folks? I'll leave them up there for a second. So if I go down the panel and ask the threads, because we've now got to try and really be optimistic. I mean, so Jeremy, if you were going to be watching season 2, which one of them seems to appeal to you because of its title or what you saw from it?
Which one?
Yep.
Wish World.
Why would that be?
It probably opens a lot of possibilities. Whereas if you were saying the Interstellar Song Contest, well, it's just going to be about Eurovision. So it's
Bang, bang, a boom.
that sort of thing. Robot Revolution, well, that contains
The thing is, I've seen people talk, and I'll show people some of the rumors and that. Don't worry, we're going to get into it. We're going to get into reactions and all that. But when you say Wish World, and I'm going to show you some more shots in a minute, but what are your wishes? The Wishmaster, remember that? I mean, I don't know. I'm starting to think the genie in the lamp and all that stuff. And you wonder actually whether, because we're going into Hocus Pocus fantasy land, as RTD seems to be obsessed with, that as the start of the climax, he has a decision to make. She wants to get home, Belinda Chandra. So you sometimes wonder whether he can get that wish, but the trouble is there'll be a consequence, and that may be the reality is broken. I'm just throwing stuff out there. Ryan, what are you thinking regarding those titles? Which ones appeal?
Oh God. Not really. I suppose the only one that intrigues me, just because it slightly actually sounds like a Doctor Who story, is the Robot Revolution. That's about it. And possibly the Reality War, because is it going to come to pass that this entire time we actually have been in a different reality and this is all some hocus pocus bullshit? Who knows? The only thing for me, I'm still just a bitter bastard. I'm sitting here like, why don't they just get some good writers from Big Finish like Tim Foley or Jonathan Carley and just like get them to write some really good Doctor Who, because they've already proven they can do it. My expectations are beyond low.
There's a few things I'll show you with various ones. Rachel, anything catching your eye?
Well, it would be Wish World and the Reality War. So, what you wish for, and then is it a two-parter? I mean, and then you just like get hit by reality or something like that. And maybe we'll just find out that it was all an alternate reality.
Please.
And of course, I might mention it at the time, the reality bomb. Davros mentioned in season 4 the reality bomb. It just intrigued me. Anyways, these are some of the reactions, and then we'll start looking in detail at some of the clips and some of the photographs. So you can see here, Wish World is scoring big. A lot of people are intrigued by that. It intrigues them. That's the one they're picking.
Yeah.
And then Reality War seems to be grabbing people. The story in the engine really stood out to me. It gave a kind of steampunk vibe. We'll have a look at that.
I thought it sounded like Thomas the Tank Engine, actually.
I know. Yeah, I know. Well, what were we talking about? We were talking about a Nigerian engine.
That's right. We were, weren't we? On Friday.
On our walk show. Please watch it. The Reality War, says Josh Jutton, a fantastic title which teases the finale. Yeah, teasers, does it deliver? That's the problem nowadays with our cynicism. You can see Reality War scores big. And yeah, it does it kind of scores well, I think, in my head. Reality War sounds a bit more Doctor Who. Angel, gosh, I think they're all amazing titles, but I'm most intrigued by Lux because it's so ambiguous. I will show you more in a minute, folks. And just a little bit more Reality War because it's like the multiverse war, the time war. The Reality War, we had a time war, now we have a mind war, a soul war, a space war, and a power war, and then
Could the Reality War be the Dalek story then?
Yeah, I think so. It's very possible.
And he actually does get offed by the Daleks this time.
And then he can regenerate.
Yeah.
We hope the Daleks do return.
Well, this is what I was saying a couple of weeks ago. I have it on good authority that I was told this like 2 years ago. But I was told on good authority that they would be coming back in season 2. So if they are going to come back, it's going to be in the Reality War.
I think they'll bring Davros back as well.
Yes. Yeah, it wasn't worth him having all that. backlash for a children in need sketch. It wasn't worth it.
No.
I think it was such, and he knew it was going to cause the biggest hell in history of Doctor Who. And he had to sow the seed about 2 years before it's seen to minimize the backlash when it really does come. The reality bomb, I'm thinking reality bomb, and Davros talked about the reality bomb, and then you see all of the worlds and broken Eiffel Towers and everything. You just wonder. Remember, that was an RTD story, you know.
Yeah, I thought for a minute you were talking about Classic Who, and I'm like, when did he mention it in Classic Who? I forgot that the Julian Bleach Davros had mentioned it. So
yeah. So here we go. Ryan, you thought maybe the Robot Revolution sounded the best of a bad bunch, but there you go.
The thing is, for me, what that should, like, this is a thing for me. If anything, I actually would have had that as the Dalek story, and basically do an, I mean, like, what's the word? I always mispronounce the word. Basically, a take on Blood of the Daleks. Now, for people who don't know, Blood of the Daleks is basically an audio drama where a group of Daleks crash land on a planet called Red Rocket Rising, and then a scientist basically adapts that technology on that planet and basically makes a new species of Dalek. But then the real Daleks show up and basically go, hold on a fucking minute, no, we're not having this, they're not pure. And then you have like another little mini Dalek civil war. You can tell I really, really like Daleks, can't you?
Yeah.
I just really want a really good Dalek story again. I'm just crying out for it.
So there you go. You've got the Robot Revolution, but I've got little snippets for you because that doesn't give much away. Some of these don't. I remember last year, Rachel, we looked at the trailer snippets, these little tiny moments. But you can see there's a few clips from episode 1, but there is a shot and it says Planet Belinda. And I have to say, I think we're being tricked. When you see the shots, you get the idea she's being kidnapped and you think, oh, that's terrible. I wonder if the robots are worshipping her. And it's Planet Belinda. And, you know, it's all about her, but it's not what you think it is. Can you see just underneath where it says the Robot Revolution, it says Planet Belinda. And
oh yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
wonder what if you were talking about.
yeah. Oh, I'm on the money, mate. I don't sleep. you
Yeah,
see.
bang on the money.
I don't sleep.
That went straight over my crown.
So you have to say, oh, what's going on there then? Is she really kidnapped for bad motive, or have they mistakenly thought she is the person to save them? And remember, she's special. You know, she's always.
Yeah, we got that.
Is it just me though, or do the big red robots in this story though look like them stupid things from that River Song Christmas episode, where like the different heads pop up?
Yeah. No, they do. They yeah, I know which one you mean. There's Lux. Now, Lux is interesting because Lux makes me think of Luxor. Makes me think of Egypt. Makes me think of gods. Makes me think of soap. Makes me think of various things. But I want to show you because as I was preparing for this show, they released some more photographs, so you may not have even seen these. Lux seems to be, look at the title, Lux, and we seem to be in some bar. It might be the theatre bar, but then you look again, it looks like a theatre bar, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Looks like some dodgy person in silhouette.
A jazz bar type thing.
Yeah. So just to show you as up to date as I can get on the breaking news, there you go on Lux. So don't know if that tells you any more, but there it says Lux outside. And remember, this was the Harvest Bringer was written on the outside of that theatre when they went in. Yeah. We've had the Harbinger. We've had all that stuff going on. I think we are leading to a finale where I think the toy maker will be back. I think, and if it's not the toy maker, Mrs. Flood's obviously higher up, and there's something to do with whoever's in that unit basement, and I'll show it in a moment. But yes, and it's the one with the cartoon characters.
This is definitely Disney.
Definitely Disney or Hanna-Barbera, it looks like to me.
Yeah.
But yes, so look, everybody, this is the Lux one. So is it Ganland? We know it's Mr. Ring-a-Ding. We know all that stuff. Mrs. Flood seems to be in this one, or is she in the Eurovision one? Because they seem to clip a few things together. So there you go. Very quickly on that one. What about this one? The Well. Now, the Well is the one where they seem to go underwater. And all it shows is something opening up. I couldn't really see anything particularly interesting of note there.
If it's like a base under siege story, it could be okay, I guess.
Well, we need one. I think there has to be a Jeopardy one somewhere where it's almost like recognizable Doctor Who. Now, what I'm going to do this time, just to kind of interlace it, is I'm going to show the video package again. But if at any point the panel wants me to, but I won't play the music or anything. What I'll do is we'll talk over it and see if we see any clues and stop me at any point to just analyze bits. So let me just set it up first because I'm not that good, really. Here we go. So I've got it. Let's have a look. Here we go. So we've got it set up there, everybody. Brendan's. This is testing my brain to the ultimate. This. So if I play this, and what I'll do, as you can see, is I'll have it on pretty low. So if anybody wants me to stop at any point, see, it looks as though there were sleeping conditions in there. Did you see that? When I just kind of.
So is that a prison of some kind?
Yeah, you know.
Is this a water well or something?
Yeah, I think it is it seems to be because it's underwater, isn't it? But yeah, it's just there you go. Oh, ow, ow, ow. Nearly. And they've got wellies in there. There you go. That gives everything away. Well, there's wellies in it. The wellies of doom. Actually, that looks quite a cozy place. I mean, Hannibal Lecter had maybe Hannah. Yeah, it looks quite. I still think it could be some sort of prison or, you know,
Yeah,
or some colony.
Perhaps it's a hospital, a well clinic.
So there's that. Now, this one is fantastic. The screen on here tells us so much, and I have to thank people on Twitter. It is Lucky Day. It gives the name of her boyfriend, so-and-so Clark there. But then our unit keeping aliens in their headquarters. Now, we see a clip later on, and I'll show you it. But believe it or not, somebody out there has actually read into all that copy, and I'll show you that in a moment.
there's an alien reflected in the glass on there.
Yes, you see that in a moment. And by the way, if everybody looks at the clippings that look really boring, at the back, you will see a part of a building. And I want to show you now that, honestly, these people are outstanding what they've done. Let me just get the right clip. It's my fault. I'm just... let me just show you. So there's as Rachel said, there's the two eyes nosing. Yep. And we've seen clips of that monster on a rooftop. But Luke, this is brilliant, this. They've tried to make out the text that's written on that article, and they've done it. So there you go. Unit continues to be asked difficult questions as pressure is rising on what exactly happens in their new central London HQ. And you see that shot, and I'm going to show it again in a minute, where Kate Stewart's down there. Last month's citywide blackout has blank across the blank after a bizarre blank seemingly took place at the unit building. Of course, I think it's so hard to read that they've tried their best. Sources on the ground on that day report a citywide total blackout, which caused all buildings, as well as the underground system, to momentarily experience total electrical blackout, leaving London without power for minutes. Local hospitals also experienced a blackout, causing all life support malfunctions. However, backup was in place, unlike Heathrow. That's interesting, isn't it? That the headquarters, you know, they've got Toymaker down there, and no doubt some unknown gods and everything down there, and they'll all be released. You just know what's going to happen. And there's the building. Yeah. That's the building that was behind that picture. So I'll go back, everybody. you can't quite see it on that one. You can see it more on the video, which I'll come back to. But basically, on them clippings, it is actually that shop store that was on fire in the very first episode of RTD's 2005 run.
No autons, please.
So it's just,
Yes.
are we going back somehow to the very beginning of RTD's era?
It's not connecting it to Rose, is he? I hope not. No more Rose. Sorry. I like Rose, but she's overdone.
There's, just to show you, episode 4, there's that monster on the rooftop, and there's Kate Stewart going down into the basement when the power cut happened. So it all starts to make sense now, doesn't it, on that score? On the actual video again, which I'll set out again.
The look-see.
Yeah. Can you see that building now? At the top? The road?
Yeah.
There it is. Yeah.
Make a wish.
A lot of people on this one said, look at the bones all around the clock. It's almost like Fred Flintstone's city. And therefore, we've seen a monster with all those bones. So this is like one of our dinosaurs has gone missing. But then look at the lady in the corner in black and white. That bit there, the reality one, the way it's done, it's almost a bit disco, isn't it? It's too clinical regarding, it's not like the magma that was the breakout with the Star Beast when it broke up the roads and everything. This looks more digital, or computerish. Tron. Do you see what I mean? The lines look more computer than natural breakups of the Earth's crust.
Of course, that their clip of mail and everything sort of melding around her, like houses and stuff, that must be from the reality war.
Yeah, when everything crumbles. But I just think there's a computer. Just look at that. That doesn't look natural in any way. And of course, they can make it look natural. So what is going on here with this? So she's maybe not getting kidnapped, as I said, or there's that horrible spider, the Anansi, the god. There's that moment, and what's behind that glass in the basement of Unit?
Would that be Wish World, the one with the dinosaur?
There's an argument that it's either Lucky Day. I think it's, sorry, I apologize. It is Wish World. Sorry, Rachel. Yes. And this is Wish World as well, clearly, after seeing all those bones. There's what you said, Ryan.
Oh, that's terrifying.
Oh, you mean that skull that kind of goes?
Was it a skull? It was like it looked metal.
Yes, it's if I can take it back for you, there. It's grim, isn't it? It's ghostly. I think it might be linked to those missing, those missing Nigerian-looking people, where it's an episode of lots of ethnic people, but it's working on that Ghanaian legend about the god of, the Nancy spider, and I think they're playing into that, and these are the missing. That's what I'm guessing, and so I think that could be a horror story. I hope it is.
I hope so.
Yeah. Yes, all those people. Then it looks a bit. Now, I want to show everybody, it's happened so fast, but look at the he's not in the TARDIS. So basically, yeah, I'm going to have to go very carefully here. Can you see the TARDIS is at the bottom of the screen? I'll play it in a moment, but it seems to be blasted out. And then you see the Doctor separate going through space. So if I play it now, you'll see what I mean. So do you see that? The TARDIS and the Doctor's separate. And
It'll be up to the companion to save him.
Well, of course.
Of course.
And then, of course, you get... let me get it right, if I can get it just there. which seems to be zooming on. I love it when it doesn't quite do it. There you go. And this one is Wish World as well, they think. It's got that same kind of, and this is where lots of decisions I think are going to have to be made, and he can't deliver on everything. So you can see, I mean, Rachel, look at the acting. Oh, he has to make a decision.
Oh, what? The acting from the TARDIS?
No, they're just.
Oh, you're talking about Ncuti.
Well, it's just stunning. It's so impactful.
Okay. I'll judge it when I see the story when that comes. I thought you were talking about.
Well, a lot of the visuals are designed to excite the viewer, I suppose, on the eye.
Yes. So you can see that I've been trying my best for everybody to look into this. I mean, the spider one. I mean, the story and the engine doesn't do much for me, but I reckon we're going into Ghanaian culture or something. But the spider is the bit that appeals. Of course, it would. And there's clips from that story where it's about missing. It's got the god Anansi. I think that seems to be nicely set up. Do you know what? They give away the least on this one.
I reckon that's. I wondered if this was a retelling. Well, not a retelling, but it was based on Bang Bang a Boom from the Big Finish stories.
Yeah. I mean,
well, most of the plot's going to be about Interstellar Song Contest. So really,
Yeah, it won't be exactly a whodunit like Bang Bang a Boom, will it?
But there's Mrs. Flood, so there's something else afoot. And if it's anything like last year, and I do actually think that every episode of last year is a mirror imprint of this year, but sometimes you have a reversal. So the episode Dot and Bubble was an all-white cast, and that was episode 5. And episode 5 this year is an all-black cast. I think he's doing something. So it's very meta, I think, that this is all fantasy and reality and everything. Within that, season 1 and season 2 match up. So Space Babies was Light Froth, and I think Robot Revolution will be. If you go by each one, episode 6 last year was Rogue. Hello, High Camp, very gay. I'm not going to say too much about Eurovision, but it's synonymous with it. Then you have, even the Dust to Dust at the end. I just think there's I'll do a stream on it later, but it's very matched up, I have to say.
I wonder what people will think of the story that Noah Adams has written.
Yes, well, I mean, we're all trying not to get triggered.
I'll be interested to see, because I will be watching the behind the scenes stuff this year. I'll be interested to see what Russell T Davies says about it.
Yeah. And you see, all these people are now speculating. So we can assume this is from Wish World, part 1 to the finale. What is going on? Some people thinking those creatures in the background are the Division from Chibnall's era. So you've got that to contend with as a possibility. There they are. It's intriguing because I think we're going to go into a real problem at last where the Doctor either has to make a terrible decision. Does he stay on for season 3? No, yeah.
He's made that decision already.
Unfortunately, some people are speculating that Wish World watch might be something like she dropped in the TARDIS, remember? The chameleon, yeah. Where she couldn't quite see her past, but she dropped it into the TARDIS, didn't she? He's not, is he? He wouldn't.
He would if he gave him half a mind.
Oh God! So I have to say, and that looks too neon to me. It looks too computer. It looks Tron.
I agree. That's a bit. What if the reality war literally is the war between the current reality that he's currently in, as in the Doctor, and the real reality? Because let's face it, season 1 and season 2. It's went from a sci-fi show to a very fantastic. Like we've seen some pretty fantastical stuff the last couple of years, rather than more sci-fi stuff. It is more like cartoons coming to life and stuff, and all this sort of carry on, and the very fourth wall breaking moments and things like that. What if this is just a complete and utter, like we find out this reality is just a complete whole made up load of nonsense?
I don't. I think it's wish fulfillment. We're hoping for that as certain.
It's Wishworld is what it is.
Yeah, but I don't think RTD will ever erase anybody's. And I actually, as a fan, even if there's an era I don't like, I don't think you should ever erase an era, because once you've done it once, another person can do it. And before you know it, the whole thing goes kaput. I think you have to somehow just ignore an era if that's the way you want to go. Matrix Lord, we lose Ruby is my guess. Now,
I wondered that as well, actually, because there's a is it Lucky Day that she's in? Well, it is Lucky Day that she's in.
Yep.
There's a bit in the trailer where she's like really sort of out of it and doesn't seem like the Ruby that we saw last series.
I hope they don't deliver her. She's nice to look at, so
yeah.
Worth watching.
Thomas McCarthy, let's be honest, Miss Flood will be RTD's ideal maiden aunt. I mean, everyone says she's the storyteller, the god of stories, but some said in all these kind of speculations that she's the god of wishes, wish world. And I mean, I don't know, how many gods do we have? I mean, I'm not going to look them all up. I mean, I know you did a stream last year, Rachel, but the pantheon of gods is a bit big.
It's a possibility, though. It is big, but it is a possibility.
So Matrix Lord thinks the Belinda thing is a distraction to Ruby. I mean, this is what we like. I mean, what we've got left is kind of speculation.
The problem is, though, like what we were saying, like we spoke about this weeks ago, like it's not like they've learned. I expect we're probably going to get a lot of more of the same that we did from season 1, because they were filmed back to back. Like they didn't do season 1 and then had a year out and go, okay, well maybe take some of the criticism on board and fix this, fix that.
Yeah.
You know, I think a lot of it probably will be more of the same.
Yeah. So there we go. We've seen that the world and the universe is going to end again. I mean, it's not my thing. Just to remind everybody, I've done the transcripts for both of the earlier trailers. There are forces beyond this universe. We think we're so clever, but we're like children. So it has that vibe that you're way out of your depth. The trouble is when you do that, then how the hell can the Doctor get back into his depth, so to speak, you know? So let's have a look. And then this is the second one. I'm the last of the Time Lords from another planet. This is a time machine. I think we're going to become cartoon characters. So there wasn't too much in it. I just wish we had posters like that from the past, when it really just seemed to take itself a lot more seriously. But yeah, wishes again, you know. But just to show you, I mean, the casting's coming together. We were talking about Freddie Fox a few weeks ago, playing a character with horns. Or he's a horny character. I don't know which way. But, he's horny. He was in Cucumber. So you watch and look, you can see in the background, it's the same creatures from Wish World. So you've got, in the climax, you get Freddie Fox playing what we're told is somebody with fury, venom, and cunning. So somebody near the end plays into this. So you've got Freddie Fox's cast. Obviously, we've got Jonah playing Millie's boyfriend, but then we heard that he might be a baddie working undercover in UNIT, trying to get secrets. So is that something to do with the power cuts and stuff? Then we've got the lad from, is it Slow Horses? Then we know about Alan Cumming. Then we know we've got various creatures and aliens coming up. Then we've got, yesterday it announced that you've got Max. Let's see, have a look. I'll just show it to you, everybody. So Doctor Who cast former Emmerdale star after he quit 4 years ago. He played Luke Posner. And here he is. Take a look. There he is. So you've got Freddie Fox. You've got him. You've got various others. So Max Parker. And he will make a big impression on the season, we're told. In an exciting episode, a role yet to be revealed. He's set to star in the late Norman. Yeah, that's okay. Sorry, I just wanted that. Then we got him as well. This is just. I mean, is anyone salivating? Is anyone going, "Oh, he's good," or "She's good," or whatever?
No.
All right. I mean, I have to say, you know, I you know, for authenticity, sorry, I might watch now, but very nice, and but no, I just don't know what to think. We've got some good actors in it. It seems to be that we're all building up to the finish. I mean, Freddie Fox, for example, in the episode 7, and you're thinking, well, surely we've got enough of a climax coming to. Do we need a new big character? I don't know, but there you go. So that's season 2 in a wrap, folks. Okay. Yes. Yeah. You don't sound too excited still. I don't know what I can do about that.
Not a lot.
Not a lot. We can make a noise like that when I press the wrong button. Yes. It's always good when you press the wrong button. So I was going to show you this. Not that. I was going to show you. Let's have a look. There we go. Yes, take a look at this. Not that. Let me just move on. I'm just tiptoeing slightly through the reads. The Michael Sheen thing seems to be baited us. Yes, there was my question. I had it ages ago, didn't I? And if you don't like season 2, everybody, and you've been miserable talking about that, and I do apologize, why don't I then start saying, if you're not looking forward to season 2, go back through your memories. Which season were you really, really looking forward to? So, Rachel.
Okay, so obviously it won't be anything from Classic, I'm afraid. Because I was born after Classic had finished. Okay, so no, not after Classic had finished, but you know, whatever. Season 4, series 4 of New Who. That's the one that I was really looking forward to, mostly because Catherine Tate was going to return. And I was surprised by that. So I was intrigued as to what they would actually do with the character. And I loved what they did with the character. So, yes. I was just looking forward to the return of Catherine Tate and seeing what she would do in the role. I think a lot of people forget or don't even realise maybe that she is actually a trained actress. So I was really excited for that.
We did. I have to say, and I've always got to be honest. At the time, I was dreading it after The Runaway Bride, but thankfully they did adapt how she presented herself, and it was changed really.
Well, yeah, they wouldn't have got away with it if they had done it the way that they'd done it for Runaway Bride.
No,
because obviously they just had the idea at the time that she was coming in for one story, and that was it, wasn't it? So they just went with that. When he was like, let's bring her back. Well, it was a smart move to change her. I don't think she would have been as likable.
No,
she's my favorite. She's my favorite now.
It was all credit to RTD and Catherine Tate for adapting her from Runaway Bride, to be honest, because she became my favorite companion, really, definitely of the new era. Sarah Jane Smith I've always liked as a child, but the thing is, Donna Noble was like his sister, and she gave as good as she got. But I don't mean not like female presenting her better and all that rubbish that it was later on. This was when she just sometimes, would say interesting things as a human to make him think, and I liked that.
And she was made clever, but in a different way. Not like solving everything.
Oh, God. Sorry, Rachel, we're going to have a fight. In a nice sense for you, way. Dalek Lives Matter. Catherine Tate is overrated. I do like Catherine Tate.
I do. I saw her in The Haunting of Enfield Manor on stage, and she was brilliant.
Yeah, sometimes the people who look like comedians or comedians are extremely good actors, I have to say. Now, Jeremy, your most anticipated season?
I would go back to the 1970s, and I would say Tom Baker's second season. So I'd watched season 12, so it'd be season 13.
Are we twins? Because
we must be.
Yeah. That's my answer as well.
We're either twins or twits.
No, that's definitely my answer as well.
Yeah, as it's Story of the Zygons.
Because I remember seeing a tiny clip. And remember in those days, folks, if you're around, you got very, very short clips of maybe the next episode coming up. You didn't get a whole season and everything online, and because obviously it didn't exist. So basically, we knew nothing. And there was no Doctor Who magazine, by the way. So basically, you saw a clip of something in the Zygons. I think you saw a bit of spying. And that was it. And you thought, wow. And it was the end of the summer holidays, and it was all very exciting.
Yeah, the trailer was showing the oil rig crumbling, and the Doctor saying, the Brigadier saying, you're suggesting we're dealing with some kind of sea monster. And he goes, yes, a monster of frightening size.
Sea devils are coming back. No. Sorry, and remember, everybody, season 12 had just happened. So it had captured me as a kid big time, and I was desperate for it to come back. So to see any clip like the oil rig and everything, you're going, oh, this is going to be perfect. Hasler Scott, good to see you. My most anticipated season was New Who 1. Yep. I have to say, as an adult, I was very excited to see it back. I tell you the story every time. I was walking the streets of Birmingham, looking at everybody's apartment windows. Are they watching Doctor Who, or are they watching Anton Deck? Come on, Doctor Who. I was in a rage, hoping we'd win that fight. So yes, I remember, because you knew that if we failed against Anton Deck, we've lost. And it had to win. And so I was really... And the other one, as I come up to Mad Mackham, was season 19, actually, which is, I'm in secondary school. Doctor Who Monthly is now out. You were getting Doctor Who Monthly. It mentioned a strange story called Kinder. Photo Doomsday is very sci-fi. Nothing about Cybermen, but Earthshock sounded interesting. And you were reading all these tiny tidbits. But I felt as though, although I was only about 12 or 13, I felt as though I was an adult about to receive Doctor Who. So I was so capable. Whereas obviously the first time round with Pertwee and the early Baker, I was just a kid getting thrilled by it. So season 19 very much excited me, because suddenly I was able to watch a new Doctor for the first time as an adult, I thought, and read about it. And so it's quite an exciting time. Sorry, Jeremy.
We also had the Doctor Who Doctor Appreciation Society. So they had the magazine out, TARDIS and Celestial Toy Room.
Yes.
And so they give you the information, or what information they could at the time, of what was up and coming.
Yes.
In terms of the episodes.
So Mad Mackham goes the year after. Season 20 was the most anticipated. Well, after giving Peter a chance, he became my go-to, and I counted the days to 20, virtually shivering with anticipation by the start titles of Arkham Infinity. Well, of course, I tell you, I was at Longleat when they announced the first title of the season after. And when you heard things like Rories of the Deep for season 21, the excitement, I do remember, just from a title, 4 words. But I remember season 20, Mad Mackham, is we were promised monsters. We were promised return enemies for every story. And when you saw it delivered, I thought, Mara, that was only a year before. That's a cop-out. Omega, yeah, but he basically was a man in Amsterdam with cornflakes on his face. I mean, come on. Well, it wasn't...
Rice Krispies.
Yeah. Yeah, and it was Peter Davis in a boiler suit. What the hell was going on?
It's very much snap, crackle, and pop.
And what was that Ergon, that strange, weird creature?
The chicken.
And Tegan's cousin was weird. I mean,
I would agree with that.
It nearly put me off backpacking. I thought, I don't know, this is all weird. Do you really, when you go backpacking, you go in the vaults like that? Dear me. So yes, it was of its time.
that vault doesn't exist, by the way.
Yeah,
there is no vault behind that stone bit facade.
Hallelujah.
Been there.
Hallelujah. I keep showing that. There must be a reason there. No, so right, did I get to you, Ryan? I haven't, have I? I haven't asked you.
You forgot about me again. I'm my joke.
Yeah.
No, I would say, well, obviously I wasn't born whenever Classic Who was
Oh, here we go. This is you and Nick will always have to throw that in. It's getting
Yeah, don't rub our youth on our face, please. Thank you. No, obviously I jumped on, like I obviously watched season 1, season 2. I fell in love with it instantly. But I would say the seasons that really got me, oh my God, I can't wait for this, would have been season 3 and season 4.
Yeah.
And the only other notable bit for me, like whenever Peter Capaldi was announced as the Doctor, like he would be like, I remember literally jumping out of my sofa and running around the house going, yes, yes, because he was like at that particular time, that would have been my dream casting, because I watched the thick of it. I was aware he was a fan of the show.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, he would be a very good Doctor
I
Who.
thought, and because he'd been in the thick of it, obviously swearing like a trooper, I got the impression, I thought, do you know what? I quite like the idea of him being like, it's like a Chris Eccleston too. The gritty Doctor, yes, maybe not effing and blinding, but as close to it, you know, Davros, take that. I kind of quite like this. That was my anticipation. But then, of course, Clara and Am I a Good Man? And I thought, oh, dear.
Yeah. Unfortunately, season 8 was a bit of a letdown. Season 9 a little bit better. I loved season 10. I think season 10 is almost a perfect season of Doctor Who. Almost.
Well, oh God, he's trying to start even more debates. I can't cope with them all. So there you go. Most anticipated. I think slightly more than season 2. Now, I love it when my restream it kind of doesn't respond. Did you see this, anybody? The Gallifrey Cabaret.
No.
No.
Yeah, everybody like a Gallifrey Cabaret? Yes, hello. Roll up. Well, the Dalek looks all right, but unfortunately, it's going to go downhill. Now, everybody, just hold on to your horses. I want no panics. You may be triggered. Here we go. This was on the 10th of April, so it's coming up just before Doctor Who comes back. There you go. Oh, they look like a cosplay event mixed with a gay pride or something. But anyway, there you go. Come aboard our first, Mad, you see all the flags at the top. Come aboard our first big London show of 2025. You already know it's going to be all kinds of camp. I think I can guess, yes.
Oh dear, this is why he's in a Colin costume.
Yeah, as we pilot our trusty LGBTQ blah, 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 the Variety Vortex, prepare for an epic night of extraterrestrial entertainment featuring a superstar lineup. I tell you what, that's a hell of a noun. Is that called an exaggeration? Lots of surprises, like, is this Doctor Who? And all the magical madness you could dream of, or nightmares, all inspired by don't say the greatest show in the galaxy. I can't do another detention. The Grand is open late with our interdimensional DJ. Why? What's wrong with him? On the decks. We'll be keeping the fun going till the end of time. So is everybody going to book this? I can see SG going, oh, what a circus.
Where's this on?
There you go. So it's on in London. It could only be London, couldn't it? I'm sorry. I'm going to... There you go. I mean, you want to see somebody impersonating Jinx Monsoon. You can't out camp, can you?
Maybe.
I mean, it was camp enough, Devil's Card, and now they're going to go another level. I mean, it's just what everybody wants. Does everybody want me to be your agent and get your tickets, eh? We could all do a sense-free reunion at the Gallifrey Cabaret.
No.
I'll be booing. I'll be like...
Right. No.
So, Ryan, you've been mysteriously quiet. I thought this would be up your street. This was the Belfast. This is the Belfast you didn't show me.
This is one of those ones where I had to go no comment, but it looks shite.
So, well, there you go. It looks interesting. I think
no,
that's...
it doesn't. No, it doesn't. It looks fucking crap. Sorry for the language.
No more swearing tonight.
God.
I love the greatest show, but I don't want this. Yes, I know. Anyway, here's another one. Now and again, Pointless. Does anyone watch it? No. Pointless had a question with Doctor Who involved, and it was from the era that nobody watched. So how the hell was anyone supposed to get this? Sarah Powell portrayed her in War of the Sontarans, a 2021 episode of this long-running BBC sci-fi series. Who's got the answer?
It's Doctor Who.
It's not.
And the only reason why I know that is because War of the Sontarans is there. If I would have just said an episode of Cheese Nips, I wouldn't have had a clue.
Ah, but it's Sarah Powell portrayed her. Who's that?
I have no idea.
No, I
right.
didn't either.
No.
Anybody in the thread? Well, of course. Come on. It must have got at least 2 million watching, so there must be somebody. No, Mary Seacole. because of course it's all preaching. I know Mary Seacole because they diversified our English curriculum, of course, didn't they? You know that, you know, Rachel, Shakespeare's in danger,
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
it'll be Charles Dickens. Then
So is
Yeah.
Easter. Easter's in danger now.
Mm-hmm.
So Mary
All in
Seacole was,
danger.
yeah, we had Rosa, and then we had Mary Seacole. All these amazing people of color. There seemed to be a message going on. It seemed
So was that the pointless answer then?
I cannot. There's always one. There's always one. Did you see this? Jeremy, have you ordered that? The Cybermen Ultimate Guide.
I've seen it. I don't know.
Oh, I might have to get that. That looks quite good. I have the Dalek one. I may have to get that one.
I've got the Into the Vortex. I've got the Dalek one. I haven't opened them, but I do appreciate how beautiful they look, and they've got lots of details. I think I need the Cybermen one. I do.
Speaking of bookazines, because they're not magazines, they're bookazines these days. For your followers from Telos Publishing, if you haven't picked up yourself a copy of this brand new book, go and get one. It's very, very good. And no, they're not paying me to say this. It's just a very, very good book about old toy Daleks and the history of Dalek toys.
Yeah, no, but come on, skin in the game. Look at your T-shirt and look at what's behind you. I mean,
well, you know.
Yeah.
Can you open up the book and have a quick look on a random page?
All right, I'll pick a random page. Well, I'm actually...
Or a random page.
Aha!
Got it.
Oh, you two are playing games with us, aren't they? So, the last thing I wanted to show you is something, since we're celebrating or commemorating or commiserating season 1 of the second era. Now we've had season 1 of the third era, but you know, the Chris Eccleston era. Did you hear the story that was cancelled and would have changed the whole? I'll remove that for a second, and has changed the whole Rose story if it had been done. If I show you it for a second, it was cancelled, a cancelled Who episode, and it would have changed the show's history. It was written by Paul Abbott. Right, so I'll show you what they mean. So, for example, a Doctor Who episode that ended up getting cancelled could have drastically altered the storyline. What's more, it could have potentially changed the relationship between the Doctor and his companion Rose Tyler in a way that would have cast a dark shadow. It was revealed in the Doctor Who magazine. RTD revealed that he was going to write Paul Abbott episode 11, which, as you know, turned into Boomtown. The planned episode was called The Void, and it would have introduced a shocking twist. Rose's connection to the Doctor wasn't just a matter of fate, it was by design. The episode's premise suggests that the Doctor had played a role in Rose's creation, manipulating events to ensure she would become his companion.
Ooh.
Now, companion arcs, the Doctor, I mean, you know, the episode where I got into trouble and had to do a detention, calling it the greatest mess in the galaxy. I struggle with the Professor and Ace and the way he played with her and toyed with her in Curse of Fenric and Greatest Show in the Galaxy, ignored her phobias, same in Ghostlight. And to hear that in the new series, they were going to do an episode when he basically manufactured Rose to be with.
That sounds like what they did with that is they scrapped that, but turned that into Donna's story arc. Just flipped around and had the Daleks do it instead.
It is very possible. I mean, it should. So had it been produced, the revelation that the Doctor had orchestrated Rose's existence would have significantly altered the dynamic. Rather than a story of trust and growth, their relationship would have been manipulative. Have to say, me, Hugh, and John in those early days when we did that episode about sex in the TARDIS, we'd have gone absolutely off it. While Doctor Who has explored more morally complex aspects of the Doctor's character, the idea of him engineering his companion's life would have been a step too far. Instead, Rose's journey remained one of personal agency. Oh, they love that phrase, don't they? Ultimately, it never materialized. Now, the fact that this was mooted, I think, is worrying. That it's so how far is this a bit like the Church on Ruby Road as well? Where, you know, the whole series is about, going back. The Doctor sees something and he wants to go back and sort this out. Oh, for God's sake. I do get so tired of this. It seems to be the only story is Clara, the impossible girl, Rose, this amazing manufactured creature, or now he's, his
Yeah,
love
like why does
into-
every companion these days have to be a mystery box? Like,
It's because it worked with Donna.
it's a mystery.
you know, but
They had
even
one hit wonder.
even with the whole Rose thing, though, if you really like, we spoke about this a few weeks ago. Like, if you really do sit back and look at it, especially from season 2 onwards, the relationship between Rose and the Doctor is incredibly worrying. Like, whenever you really sit back and look at it, because even by the end of season 2, Jackie Tyler very much says to Rose, like, you even look like him now. Like, the Doctor has completely changed who this 19, 20-year-old girl is. She basically is in love with a 900-year-old alien. He pretty much, likes her quite a bit. Whenever you really do sit back and think about it, that whole relationship is very, very problematic.
Well, it is because, all I have to say is the word safeguarding. It's just,
But it's a fantasy, though, isn't it? It's fiction.
It's fiction, but as Friendly Otaku says here, the fiction has messaging that they want to go further and be taken seriously, whether it's trans issues, all of the issues we've had. So when they preach and go heavy, you go, well, hold on a minute. But as Jeremy says, it's supposed to be just a fantasy or a fiction. So why are we taking it seriously? And the trouble is, they take it very seriously when it gets to their message. Now, Friendly Otaku says here, I'm not sure what's preachy. Now, this is the Merry sequel bit. I'm not sure what's preachy about portraying a real historical figure who did incredible things. That's the kind of thing Doctor was created for. The snag we all had was the Mary Seacole story is actually much more complex than the Florence Nightingale one. And there was a choice of two because it was the same war. It was the Crimean War. You could have had Florence Nightingale rather than Mary Seacole. And the issue was nowadays, because of the DEI inclusivity thing, they wanted to do Mary Seacole, but she started it was more of a kind of hospital hotel. There was money involved. It was different. Florence Nightingale didn't do it for monetary reasons. It was highly complex. I'm not knocking Mary Seacole. I'm just saying they leave a historical figure in who just has the right look. I know this because we had to teach her poetry about her. And it's a complex story. And the trouble nowadays is the way they present history is more simplified than I actually think they should do. They should research it properly and not just say, oh, look, she's the right color, or she's the right sex, or she's the right sexuality. They should look deeper, because actually it's a mess when they do. She was obviously more amazing than Florence Nightingale. Was she? I don't know what's going on there. So, it's been a busy show. We've covered quite a lot of things, and thank you everybody. John earlier, Hugh earlier, Ryan, Rachel. We've done 2 in 60 hours. I think that's
what it feels like. Maybe. Yeah.
The week that was woke. Please tune in on for that one. Obviously, Jeremy was a bonus on Friday doing the detox with the Aussies.
Yeah, doing the overtime. Overtime in it.
And it was a great laugh. And
it was, yeah.
And Ryan, obviously, it was only a week ago. I was having a drink with you. It was really good fun, and I've got good memories of that. And hopefully, we do it again. So, everybody, thank you for joining us. Really, really, thank you very much. Please like and subscribe, and please support us again. We'll be definitely on Wednesday by Generates at 2. I'll probably appear somewhere. You know me. I can't. Am I going to hear myself? But in the meantime, everyone have a very good night, and thank you very much for joining us.
That's all.
See you all again.
Bye.
Bye. Subscribe.